Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Aurora, a Filipino horror film from 2018 that was directed by Yam Laranas and stars Ann Curtis. Now the passenger ship Aurora mysteriously collides into a large series of rocks offshore. Now despite being within sight of the shore, this accident causes massive casualties. Now, this is an emotionally traumatic event for the nearby community because various family members perished in the accident. Early on, we see these people as they hold a meeting and decide to stop searching for survivors because hope is lost. However, a few people propose to look out for any dead bodies that may come near the shore and retrieve them. Unfortunately, the spirits of the dead may be returning as well. So Aurora was a box office hit in its home country, earning over 30 times its budget. Now, after watching the trailer, I was pretty excited for it because it looked very cool. However, the initial reaction from English language reviewers has been rather negative. Not a ton of people have seen this, but the initial reactions have not been very good. But after sitting down and actually watching the film recently, I've got to be honest with you. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. But at the same time, I can understand why it did not work for some people. The reason is the storytelling. So the development of the story in Aurora is backloaded to the second half of the film. Okay, we eventually get the backstories of some of the people who were actually on the ship and passed away when it sunk, which leads to some of the more significant plot turns down the stretch. But the focus of the story is not our main protagonists, despite the fact that we do spend quite a bit of time with a young woman played by Ann Curtis and her little sister. Now, the filmmakers are simply not that concerned with the backstories of these two main characters. So those storytelling aspects seem to be the main problems that most people have with this movie. Now, for me personally, I was fine with it. First of all, we get a feel for the morality of Ann Curtis's character. She makes some hardline decisions that create conflict with a few of the other characters, but she feels strongly that her stance is simply the right thing to do, and that communicates some important traits about her character. But there's a more important reason that I did not have a problem with the aforementioned storytelling aspects. I'm a sucker for atmosphere, and Aurora has atmosphere in boatloads. Now, practically the entire film takes place on or near a gloomy coastline that features huge, jagged rock formations, a vast, wavy sea that stretches out seemingly forever, some rainy weather, and you can actually see the shipwreck still popping out of the ocean against the rocks that are offshore. So this whole setting and environment is pretty fantastic. Also, the score and the sound design are very impressive because it emphasizes the crashing waves. For someone like me who does not live by the sea, this movie impacted me on a sensory level. I find these types of surroundings very unnerving. You know what I mean? Especially just the crashing waves of the sea against rock structures and just looking out at the sea and just seeing nothing but sea and sky, like seemingly forever. Like that type of thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know what I mean? And the wave crashes are almost like a portrayal of the violence of natural environments, so yeah, I really like the whole atmosphere of the film. Of course, there's plenty of water-based imagery, both outdoors and indoors. So the atmosphere really helped to hold my interest during the earlier sections of the film when the story was not really progressing that much. The horror aspects and sequences are generally good, I think. It thankfully avoids jump scares, and the ghouls look good. There are a few bits of CGI near the end that were not very convincing, but they did not last long, so it's not a big deal. The finale actually relies more on invoking sadness from the viewer instead of fear, but it works, and it was a little bit different from what I was expecting. Now, Ann Curtis gives a good performance. I've seen her in 3 movies now, and I enjoyed her in all 3. The director, Yam Laranas, is the same man who gave us The Echo from 2004 and The Road from 2011. So Aurora definitely has a certain craftsmanship to it that's evident in this man's better films. So I enjoyed this one, and I see myself watching it again in the future. So here's the deal with this film. when you're deciding on whether or not you should watch this movie, you kind of have to ask yourself a question. Do you enjoy deliberately paced horror films with a lot of atmosphere? And if the answer is yes, I'd say give this one a shot. It's currently available on Netflix streaming in the United States. And as always, I'll see you next time.